Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and I wanted to take one more video and share with you three more biases that we often encounter when we're trying to determine the path that we'll take in life with regard to certain issues, how we look at things, how we judge things, whether we support things, whether we don't support things, what we accept as truth, what we reject as falsity. Uh, those things often will uh, fall prey to these biases. We covered three in a previous video, and I've got three more for you. The first of which is anchoring. And this is a bias that sort of shows itself in lots of different ways. A good example would be price. We can look at something very expensive and immediately be off-put by the price. But if we're presented with an anchor, say a price that's a lot higher, and then we're shown that very same price that we rejected before because it was high, we tend to not care that much. It feels like we're getting a bargain in terms of any benefit that we have. If we're being shown that things could be a lot worse and anchored to that, and then shown the reality, it's very different from just being shown the reality as it stands. When we compare those things, we tend to have a bias toward it. So, for example, if you saw a car that cost, $21,000, it's a lot of money. I mean, this happened to me. This is an example that I'm bringing you. Saw the car, $21,000. But then you hear that it originally was $35,000 and they're offering it to you for $21,000. Now, the first thing I think is, what's wrong with the car? And there wasn't anything wrong with the car. They just had it on their lot too long, and they thought, okay, we'll bring out the suggested retail price, and it'll make, because of anchoring, it'll make the actual sale price seem that much better. So that's anchoring. And we can find those biases all over the place when we're presented with how bad things could be, right? That's the anchor that we look at. The second last bias that I want to share with you is the simplicity bias. And the simplicity bias is shows itself in that we tend to favor solutions that are simple solutions to difficult questions because of their simplicity. So if we think to ourselves, oh, we can solve world hunger just with, genetic manipulation of food, genetically modified organisms. It's not so hard. We know how to do that. But there is a lot more to that problem than just that one simple solution. Or we read about something where the phrase that's used is, but it all boils down to one little thing. And we instantly assume, oh, that's awesome, because it saved us so much work. It prevented us from thinking too hard. But the truth of the matter is that simplicity is usually just an option. It's not the cool, hip, awesome solution to everything. Often, even simple problems are very complex to solve. There are so many divisive issues in the world that seem like they would have a really simple solution. And once somebody latches on to a simple solution, it's like, oh, well, let's do that. That's easy. That'll save us a bunch of effort. But that's a bias, right? You have to really look at all the different options, right? So the last one I want to share with you, after anchoring and the simplicity bias, is probably the granddaddy of them all, and that is confirmation bias. You may have heard about this before, confirmation bias. It is our tendency to look for and to give more credence to solutions to problems that reflect our existing beliefs. One of the phrases that you hear all the time is, if all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail, right? You think to yourself, well, I believe this about this situation, so I'm going to use that in terms of the information that I judge to be positive. And the more you believe that what you believe is the truth, the be-all, end-all truth, and there's no shades to it, the more likely it is that you will filter out anything that doesn't fall in line with that, anything that doesn't align with that. You'll ignore everything that goes up against that, when often it's a great idea to consider all of the different options that you have as you pick out your path, right? As you come up with your solution. Because even if you end up rejecting the things that don't serve the beliefs that you already have, at the very least, you've considered them not evenly, but at least you've given them the opportunity to present themselves as possibilities, as opposed to just rejecting them out of hand. You know, I mean, I've told you many times, I'm a process person. I want to know what step 1 is, step 2 is, step 3 is, step 4 is, all the way up to step X, whatever that is, getting me from knowing nothing or knowing very little or just starting off to success, right? And many times I've felt myself saying, oh, well, that's something that I already knew, so I'll give that the benefit of the doubt, and I'll favor that over something that I don't know, but could possibly be a nugget of gold that could really help me. So confirmation bias is sometimes hard to recognize, but it's worth being aware of and watching for. Just ask yourself, do I believe this because I've always believed this? Does this thing that I'm rejecting, does it have any basis in fact? Remember the video that we did where we said the simple one-word question to ask yourself is and? Right? So there you go. There's 3 more biases, all worth looking at when you are deciding what is part of your decision-making process and your critical thinking process. I just find all this stuff fascinating. I don't know if you do. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I'm boring you. I just find this stuff fascinating because we all want to get better at what we do, no matter what it is that we do. And sometimes not knowing those pitfalls, not knowing those speed bumps, if we just did know them, it would be a lot easier for us to do better at what we're trying to do. So let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this video on votogogo.com, we got a comment space below the video. We also have all of the existing episodes if you want to go through those and find some stuff to watch. We have the raw YouTube captioning in case you want to read rather than hear these videos. I'd love to have you do whatever way you want to consume them. That's great. If you're leaving a comment anywhere but votogogo.com, go there, because the comments are they're respectful, and we keep a watch on trolls showing up. If you want to watch on YouTube, that's great. If you want to join my channel, subscribe, and know when these videos come out, go ahead and click on my head there. If you don't see a head or a face, go ahead and find a subscribe button somewhere on the page. If you want to see the latest video I've done, click on that frame. YouTube will play it for you. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.